In the first two of this series and looking for a sweep this weekend here at Busch Stadium. Scott Mormon is here, Jim Hayes, Rick Horton, Dan McLaughlin with you. It is 80 degrees, and boy, what a beautiful day for baseball.
A terrific day. We are closing in on the month of September. So you think about how important this game, every game this next week are for the St. Louis Cardinals. I think they're at a crossroads in a way. They've had rough sledding the past few days, but before that, at the beginning of this homestand, they were playing well. And it'd be nice if they could turn it around today behind their veteran, their presence in the clubhouse, Adam Wainwright.
Cardinals in this little losing streak now, 11-13. The Indians 21-12. And a look at the season numbers for number 50.
This is start number 5 for Wainwright. He's 2-0, 2.88 ERA. And what I like about Waino is just not giving up hits, getting deep in games. He's doing it quickly. And the Cardinals bullpen, although they got some reinforcements this week, could use a breather today. It'd be nice if Adam could go deep.
The Indians lineup, and it's a good one. They came in not hitting all that well, but you wouldn't know it. Cesar Hernandez, Jose Ramirez, Lindor, Santana, all switch hitters, the top 4. Then Franmil Reyes, Tyler Naquin, Jordan Luplow, Perez, and DeShields. The Indians batting order, and they will face Adam Wainwright. '269th start together. Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina.
And interesting, this is the first time that Adam Wainwright has started against the Cleveland Indians. So the only team he has not started against in the big leagues is the St. Louis Cardinals. And I'm glad for that. That means he's our guy, and he's been our guy from the beginning.
The Cardinals defense and a different look in the outfield. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers with Tommy Edman in left field, Dylan Carlson in center, and Dexter Fowler in right. Carpenter, DeYoung, Wong, Goldschmidt along the infield, and Yadier Molina is behind the plate. How about Tommy Edman in left?
Well, Mike Schultz saying before the game he's trying to balance performance and patience. And you think about how hard that is to do in 58 games. You can't go too long without giving somebody else a chance if the offense isn't working.
So it's game number 25 for the Cardinals. The first pitch is strike, and this one makes it 0-2. All the players still wearing number 42 to honor Jackie Robinson Day, and let's just make it a weekend.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate, and for so many reasons. I'm glad they decided to do that. Also glad they're playing baseball today.
One ball and 2 strikes.
Cardinals still have games to make up. They have 33 games to play after today in 28 days. So it's not going to be easy going forward either.
And the check swing taken just a bit high, 2-2. Cubs leading Cincinnati early on. That's 1-0, and they have acquired Jose Martinez, the former Cardinal and now former Tampa Bay Ray. Curveball, and it just missed outside.
And those two teams had a bench clearing conversation yesterday that ended up with 5 ejections. No real fight. I wouldn't call it social distanced conversation.
Strikeout on the outside corner. Hernandez thought he had first base. Instead, he heads back to the dugout.
Too close to take. May have been just a tad outside. That's at least what Hernandez thought, but a good start for Waino. His
Hyundai pitch arsenal.
Yeah, and it features several varieties of fastballs, the 4-seamer, sinker, and cutter. And he's going to use that curveball a lot. 33% of the time. The effectiveness we all know about. But what I love about the curveball for Waino is the fact that he throws it for strikes right on cue.
Jose Ramirez batting .254, 7 home runs, and he's driven in 22. And a fly ball lifted to Tommy Edman. Under it to make the catch. Wonder if that's Tommy's glove or if he had to borrow somebody's.
Well, that's something that the average fan may not know, is that there are typically several different kinds of gloves. We all know about the catcher's mitt. That's a different glove. The first basemen have a more extended glove. Often the middle infielders have a short glove. The idea is you want less leather when you're trying to dig the ball out of your glove on a double play, and so that's part of the reason for that. But in the outfield, you want to have as good a reach as you can get trying to get a ball in the gap, so the glove tends to be longer. So several different gloves. I would think a third baseman should use a different glove than the second baseman, even in terms of how big it is.
And that's what I'm wondering, because primarily he's been at third, plays the middle infield. He's played a little right, and today he's in left. Francisco Lindor. Only seen him a brief time in this series, and you already see the talent that oozes from Francisco Lindor. He is a good player. Man, oh man.
Fun player to watch, too.
And lifts a fly ball into right center. Carlson there, and Adam Wainwright, a 1-2-3 inning. Coming up, the top of the Cardinal lineup. Get the bats going. Wong, Edman, and Goldschmidt. This Sunday afternoon here at Busch Stadium. Cardinals batting order: Colton Wong, Tommy Edman, Paul Goldschmidt. Designated hitter Brad Miller. Then Paul DeYoung, Yadier Molina, Matt Carpenter, the switch hitter Dexter Fowler, and the switch hitter Dylan Carlson. Aaron Savali, 6 starts this year, 3-3.
He's a good one. He's just 25 years old, making again start number 7, but he has really come on. He was not a high round draft choice. He played collegiately at Northeastern, and you don't think about that being a baseball powerhouse, but here he is in the Indians rotation, and they just love this guy.
Well, the Indians just keep finding pitching, don't they?
They do, and they're not finding it necessarily in the first round, second round, third round. They're getting kind of the in the weeds guys, and it's been amazing how good their pitching staff has become. They've got the best ERA in baseball coming into play today, even better than the Dodgers now.
A fly ball to center fielder Delino DeShields, and the Hyundai pitch arsenal.
2 different kinds of breaking balls, the slider and the curveball, and not the overpowering fastball necessarily, but the good movement and good location. 91 to 92.
A lot of switch hitters in this game, collectively 7. We don't see that very often, do we?
You don't.
And here's one of them, Tommy Edman. 241 the average.
Almost think with the DH and wanting to have more pitchers in the game as we do now, being a switch hitter is a great asset. I mean, if you're a minor league player and you're thinking about it, it's worth trying.
Absolutely.
Or I'd say you better have already thought about it, probably high school or even before that.
And then you have a guy like Dexter Fowler, who did not learn until he got to the Rockies organization. He was telling me that story. He got in the cage and they said, "Turn around." He said, "What?" "Yep, turn around."
And it worked.
And it worked. He said, "You're a good athlete. You got good speed. Want to see if you can do it." Well, here he is, productive switch hitter in the big leagues.
And again, the value of being a switch hitter is there's no, especially if you can be equal left and right, the pitching changes with a left-hander coming to neutralize you is not going to happen.
Toyota, key to the game.
Well, it's very simple. The Cardinals need to find some energy. They need to approach the energy today that you had in the open.
Got to have energy.
If they get 80% of the way to the energy that you had in the open, they'll be flying high today. And it's going to have to start, I think, with the top of the order. Cardinals need to get more production out of 1 and 2.
3-2 pitch. Little chopper slowly hit. Could be close to the bag. It's a base hit for Tommy Edman.
That just looked like trouble, didn't it?
Sure did.
I mean, that's the perfect placement to cause havoc on the defensive side, because the first baseman has to get rid of it quickly. There's some communication with the pitcher whether he can get it or not, and it has to be a quick shuffle to a guy that essentially has his back to you at this point. He's running away from you and trying to look backwards and catch a. I mean, it's a hard play. It really is.
He had no shot. Now Paul Goldschmidt, 329 the average, 3 home runs, and he has driven in 10. Not a lot of home runs hit by the Cardinals collectively. That is of concern. Not a lot of offense, not a lot of power. So just need to see the offense collectively as a whole get going.
Well, you'd hoped that you would get more power from Carpenter, DeYoung, Carlson, maybe Tyler O'Neill. not just Goldie. Goldie's going to give you what he does, and he's as consistent as anybody in my mind. He had a good year last year, despite feeling like he hadn't done enough. I'd say he did pretty well, but you need to be surrounded by guys that can also do damage.
It's a ball and a strike with one out, runner at first. Off the end of the bat, foul. I wonder if Mike Shildt gets out of his comfort zone in certain situations of not wanting to run and starts to run because they have to generate offense.
Yeah, the double-edged sword. You don't get a lot of base runners, and then you get one and he's thrown out. I hear you, and I agree with you. But that's the kind of the hard part of that thought process for Mike Shildt. The phrase, of course, baseball people use is there are times you run yourself out of an inning, and the Cardinals certainly have not run the bases well this week. That's not a secret. They didn't yesterday, and yet you can also run yourself into a good inning potentially.
And back in safely. You're talking about energy, and it's a new day, and that's the beauty of baseball. However, in a 60-game season, they start to be magnified. Every game is about 2.7 win or lose. So when you have 3 or 4 losses in a row, it's magnified.
Well, the loss Friday was painful in a way, but the pain subsided in about the 5th inning as we were doing the game. It's like, well, okay, this one's over, and you just kind of go through it. But the game yesterday was gettable.
Very. 3-2. Tommy is running, and the pitch is slowly hit left side. Glove by Ramirez, and they get Goldschmidt. The Indians defensively. Luplow, DeShields, Naquin in the outfield. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Ramirez, Lindor, Hernandez, and Santana in the outfield. Roberto Perez is behind the plate. Well, the Cardinals, the last 4 games, are 3 for 30 with runners in scoring position. Here's Miller with a runner at second.
Well, I think that says a lot. That says a lot about the frustration on the offensive side. And, you're probably not going to hit 300 very often with runners in scoring position, though the Cardinals did have a year where they did just that, hit over 300 collectively. But certainly you need more production, not just average-wise, but you need an occasional gapper there. You need sacrifice flies. You need good things to happen with runners on base, including getting them over and getting them in.
The 0-1 pitch. Off the end of the bat, 0-2. He'll check the end, make sure it's not chipped on that bat.
Sounded like it broke.
And it may have. He just checked it. Now walking over and gets a new bat. Last 4 games, they've had 6 runs total. That's it. All errors have been on the infield. They've had 4 errors in the game. So when you have that combination, you're not going to win. Not at this level. So trying to change that today here at Busch Stadium. And the 0-2 taken high.
I think it's why I said the key to the game is to have energy, because you could see how they might not after the tough losses, after, again, the trying number of games they've played after being off for 17 days. There's a lot of reasons that you could throw in the why do you play sluggish or why are you seemingly tired, but you've just got to find a way to push through it, and there's a deeper level, and it's not easy to get to.
Cardinals wrapping up this long homestand here this afternoon, and they will be in Cincinnati tomorrow. Take on the Reds, first of 3, and we'll have that series for you on Fox Sports Midwest. Looking forward to that one. Dakota Hudson tomorrow night. Anthony DeSclafani for the Reds. Out of play.
One more thought about the energy. You could see Paul DeYoung talked about it before the game today. He is not preparing this year as he prepared in other years, because obviously this year is different. And part of all the games they're playing is there's less time on their feet taking ground balls, taking work in the cage, watching video, and they're resting more so they can actually get through the games. But is some of that lack of ability to practice and to work affecting what's happening on the field? It's an interesting question.
Little delayed steal here and safe at third. Not sure if it's a delayed steal or if he thought that might be a wild pitch, but either way, Edman said, the heck with it, I'm going.
Yeah, he got the extended lead and took the hops and then went. There's Edman, take the boom, boom. Yep, I'm going to go. And he thought he could beat the third baseman to the bag, which he does, although looks like the Indians might want to look at this.
Well, if they're challenging in the first, they must feel pretty confident they got him. And I think they did.
Ooh, boy.
That's a quick tag there by Ramirez. Really quick tag and athletic play by the Indians' third baseman.
Well, he's tagging somebody that he doesn't see because he's behind him. He's catching the ball and throwing his glove backwards, catching it. By the time he gets over top of Tommy Edman, he's just flailing backwards, and there's the tag, and I think he's going to be out. We'll see. Close. We talked about running yourself into an inning or out of an inning. And one of those two things is going to happen right now.
And he is indeed out. So again, they run themselves into an out and out of an inning. We move to the second, and there is no score here at Busch.
Move to the second. Adam Wainwright has been very good this season. Even when he doesn't have his best stuff, he's been very good. He's given the Cards quality innings while other starters were still getting stretched out, but Waino's value obviously goes beyond that. Paul DeYoung told me Waino is a big part of our heart and soul on and off the field. Mike Schultz said what Waino does on the mound is the anchor, but what he's done to help keep this group together under unprecedented circumstances can't be overlooked. Dan Schultz says Waino's communication with his teammates and keeping guys connected during a crazy situation this season may be his biggest contribution.
He has been, you know, you think about coming back after the 17-day layoff when they needed the start. First game back, huge. He had the game in which there was 2 errors in the first, down 2-0, gave up a home run. They're down 3. He goes then 15 in a row. They come back and win that game. And as Ricky mentioned, this is a game they need a win. They need a good start. They're hitting the skids right now. So this is the guy you probably, Ricky, want on the mound.
Yeah, there's no question. And you think about Wainwright's ability and his numbers and all the positive things. But I think Jim's right. Schulte's conversation today is absolutely true that his value in the clubhouse has been amazing.
Sliding catch, Carpenter. Nice play by Matt Carpenter. Long way to go and made the play.
Not an easy play. Jam shot, foul territory. Who's going to get it? Carpenter has a way to go because he's playing him to pull on the left side of the infield. A nice diving play for Carpenter. And thinking about Wainwright, I'm just mindful of the fact that it was probably 2 years ago, maybe 3, where if you'd asked me how many more years does Adam Wainwright have left, I would have said I'm not sure if it's many. I don't know what the plans are for him. Maybe back in the bullpen for the Cardinals long reliever. He was not really going to be one of the 5 starters. And I think there was a time, I know there was a time where Adam wondered just whether he could come back to be 100%. Age and injuries certainly make you question that, but his mental strength might be his greatest asset. And curveball number 2.
Here's Franmil Reyes, the designated hitter. Never forget that start in May of 2018, Petco Park against the Padres. And he walked off the mound, and I thought, this might be it. He was hitting 80 miles an hour with a fastball. He was shut down, and he told me it was playing catch in a rehab with Dominic Leone that he found something in his arm. And we all thought, you know, that's just Waino kind of being the ultra positive guy that he is, and true to form, there was something there that he figured out.
And eventually ends up throwing a shutout here at Busch Stadium and talks with you in the post-game sound with tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was one of my favorite interviews. You chatted with him right after the game, and he expressed, you know, I had doubts but now I know I can be that guy again.
Yep. And he was terrific down the stretch last year in September, postseason play. One of the best pitchers in baseball, not just with the Cardinals. First base runner for the Indians. It's a walk to Reyes, and now Tyler Naquin.
In evaluating his last start, Wainwright was saying that the worst inning he had was the inning where he walked 2 batters. He just couldn't forgive himself for that. He only gave up 1 run in that inning.
And then it was the base hit by O'Hearn that cost him. And that was against Kansas City, who just traded away, by the way, Trevor Rosenthal, who goes to the aforementioned Padres.
Padres oddly having trouble in their bullpen. I thought that would be a strength. Of course, their lineup's a lot better, but Rosenthal is a hot pitcher right now, so makes sense for them because they're right on the heels of the Dodgers.
That's hit down the right field line. Could be trouble, and it's gone. Sneaks over the top of the wall. They're going to play it as if it's not a home run, but I do believe that's gone. We'll see.
I think that's going to get looked at. Our first base umpire, Jerry Meals, called it in play, and it seemed as Dexter was going for it that he knew that it was a home run, and he ended up, after seeing that Meals called it safe, he went and got it. But here's the home run. Is it out or not? It is home run.
So 2-0 Cleveland. For Naquin, that'll be his 2nd home run of the year. Boy, just over the wall, looks like.
This should not be long. This will be an abbreviated home run trot for Tyler Naquin, who's halfway there. Makes me think of Kyle Loesch and Michael Morse. First time we had this kind of replay, no one knew what to do. On a foul ball that ended up being fair, and Morse was at the plate and pretended to hit it again, and Loesch played along and let him circle the bases. That was a funny moment. I enjoyed that.
So 2-run homer, 2-0 Cleveland. Yeah, he took the, what would you call it, an air bat?
Yes.
Acted like he hit it
yeah.
and trotted the bases. Even Loesch was kind of laughing about it.
And honestly, I don't think anybody had contemplated what do you do in that case.
Right.
Morse had already come back to home plate and it was ruled foul. And I'm almost sure that was the first year of replay, which at the time was mostly just boundary stuff. It was home runs to a fair or foul down the line, those things. But it's expanded now, and we're a lot more used to it. But at the time, I don't think anybody knew how to act.
So now Luplow hitting 125, 1 home run. Big curveball, 0-2.
70% strikes on his curveball in 2020 for Adam Wainwright. That is ridiculously high.
And the 0-2 pitch lifted in the air, right field. Fowler over and makes the catch on the run for out number 2. So Fowler near the line makes that catch. Roberto Perez had a big game 1.
On base 4 times. Coming into that game hitting .097. Had a walk and 3 hits in that game. And of course that game, Dan, was one we'd like to forget about.
Yes, sir. And the 1-1 pitch. 2 balls and a strike. Well, the Indians have scored first in all 3 games. And outside of the walk-off win, the Cardinals have trailed for the last 48 innings back to the 5th inning on Tuesday. So a lot of catch-up here. Curveball again. This may drop. Fowler, though, is there to make the sliding catch. Nice play by Dexter in right field. Dexter Fowler with a sliding catch. 2-0 Indians midway through 2. Kia give it everything. Lowest starters whip in Major League this season. And Cleveland and St. Louis 1-2.
So not surprising, we had the extra inning game yesterday. It's the second time the Cardinals have played with the new rule, Dan, of starting with somebody at second base. But the first time was in a 7-inning game as part of a doubleheader. So it's the first time they played the 10th, and unfortunately couldn't come up with a run late. But the pitching was really good yesterday, both sides.
And that is popped foul and out of play. Miller left standing at the plate after Edman caught stealing to end the bottom of the first. Saw 6 pitches. And that's hit up the middle, but into the shift. Miller hustling down the line, but the out. Shortstop Paul DeYoung.
Well, if you're an Indians fan, you have to love their defense in the infield, especially the defense and their offense. They're all switch hitters. They're all top players. I mean, this is a good team, very good team.
Well, if you're the Indians, are you looking for offense here at the trade deadline and maybe trade away some of this pitching? Be interesting.
Or do they trust the fact that most of their players are below their career numbers, and do you just assume you're going to have a regression to the mean, which baseball people like to talk about?
DeYoung lines it into right, and that's a base hit.
Good job of taking a pitch away, 93, and hitting it that way. Well, you get pull happy in this game, and it's a problem. DeYoung uses all fields well. He especially was doing that in spring training. I think he thought, Dan, that would be his next level. Strike out less, more doubles. Home runs, we'll take those, of course, but more doubles, more gappers the other way.
Yeah. So today, game number 2,000 for Yadier Molina. And it should be noted that it's game overall 2,000, not primarily as a catcher. $1,963 as a catcher, and 2,000 for Yadi overall. So most games played in Cardinals history all time. Stan the Man, Lou Brock, Yadi, Ozzie, Enos Slaughter.
Let's see. Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame.
Yep. I think it's also interesting how the Indians approach the next 24 hours with Clevenger and Plesac. You know, with their situations, what happened with them off the field, and then maybe look at that as tradable. A base hit by Yadi, and DeYoung on his way to third, and then do you take that pitching and turn it into some offense?
So now we have a alternate site list, we have a injured list, we have a COVID list, but the Indians also have a doghouse list, and that's where they are right now, and they're trying to determine what's best for their team with those guys, because there was some internal consternation over that. Those guys that breaking their protocol, and who knows, there may be a deal forthcoming.
So Yadi just passed Red on the all-time hits list in Cardinals history. Here's Carpenter with runners at first and third, hitting 191. But yet leading the team in runs batted in with 13. Well, you got to get something here. Have to. Runner at third, less than 2 outs. This is where the Cardinals have had their issues.
So we talk about situational hitting all the time, and what is this situation? Just what you said. You got to get the runner in somehow, and how do you do that? You hit the ball into the outfield. That's actually, when you're taking a round of BP and you get to the situational part, they'll tell you where you are, and if it's a runner at third, 1 out, that's what you're supposed to do. Drive it into the outfield. Carpenter's not much of a double play concern anyway. He doesn't hit the ball on the ground very often in the infield, but what he can't do is pop it up in the infield. He's got to drive it into the outfield.
3-0 pitch. 3-1. Dexter Fowler on deck, and then Carlson. Matt hitting in the 7th spot in the lineup, so Mike Schilt trying anything to get it going, changing everybody around. Shift on the right side, and Carpenter takes a ball, and now the bases will be loaded for Dexter Fowler. Cardinals receiving their first walk today. Dexter on Friday night picked up his 3rd home run of the year. This a 2-run shot into the Cardinal bullpen.
And that was one of the nicer moments during this homestand. A fitting timing, Jackie Robinson day for Dexter Fowler to hit that ball into the Cardinals bullpen. That was a very, very nice moment for him.
All loaded up. 1 out, and Dexter hits it down the right field line. That ball is fair down into the right field corner. 2 runs will score. Here comes Carpenter. He's going to be held up. Dexter Fowler the double, and we're tied at 2-2. Dexter Fowler the double to make it a 2-2 game.
Well, he wanted to see this Cardinal team have some energy, and there's some energy in this response. The 2-run home run in the top half of the inning, and they've come out flying here in the second. In fact, I think Matt Carpenter wanted to score from first base. He was running hard and was held up at the last second by Pop Warner at third. But there is Dexter jumping on the first pitch he saw, and Adam Wainwright appreciative of the support.
And now Dylan Carlson.
Boy, has he struggled with runners in scoring position. Good time to break out of that thought right now.
Only JT Realmuto has had more at bats with runners in scoring position than Carlson since his call up.
Paul DeYoung saying that he's had conversations with Dylan about hitting with runners in scoring position and trying to give him a focus point. Paul said that he learned how to attack these situations from Marcell Ozuna. He asked Ozuna, you get all these RBIs every year. How do you do it? What do you think? And Paul said he really got a lot from Ozuna's mindset in this situation. Aggressive, but still within yourself.
And ahead in the count here, 2-0. Carlson, base hit inside the first base line. 1 run is in. Fowler being waved in. The throw to the plate is cut off, and Dylan Carlson drives in 2, and it's a 4-2 St. Louis lead.
I love this Cardinal response. And there it is. Dylan Carlson coming through with runners in scoring position. You mentioned it, 2-0 count. That ball had a little English on it. It actually came underneath the arm of the diving Santana into right field. Way to go, Dylan Carlson.
Well, yesterday the Cardinals were 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position, and today already they are now 2 for 4 and have driven in 4. What do you think about this? After a visit, if you're Dylan Carlson, first pitch, go.
I'd be okay with that. And you've got a good hit and run guy too. You could also do that. Put a little pressure.
I mean, you're the Cardinal. You got to get going. Put the pressure on them. If you're the pitcher, you're thinking about what's just happened, going to, with what's happening at the plate. Go.
So you double down is basically what you do.
Yeah. Not running. Pitch taken for a ball. Down and in to Colton Wong. Fly to center. But to your point and your key to the game, create the energy, the excitement.
Good hit and run count, 1-0.
And the 1-0, there goes Carlson, and a throw down to second. He is out. Wonder if he came off the bag and the tag was applied then.
I thought he got to the bag first, but apparently the Cardinals aren't even going to look at this. There's the throw, and it's short hopped and handled. Yeah, he's out. Very close though.
2-0 pitch and a strike, 2-1. Still like it.
I think if there was a hit and run on, it would have been better.
Wong lifts it in the air out to deep left and backing up to make the catch. Luplow. So the Cardinals pick up 4, and with that they pick up a lead. Dexter Fowler. The double with the bases loaded. Then Carlson drives in 2 more, and it's a 4-2 St. Louis lead.
Team puts 4 on the board in the bottom of the second as they have the lead heading into the third. And of course, as Dan and Rick have mentioned, the Cardinals struggling here recently with their offensive woes, maybe turning around with Dexter Fowler and Dylan Carlson. Sit 3 for 30 with runners in scoring position the 4 games before today. Mike Schultz said the name of the game is opportunities, and we want as many opportunities as we can get, but we have to cash in on them. Paul DeYoung said on the struggles, it's the psychology of baseball. When you want to do more, you almost have to do less. Sometimes you just have to let the big hit happen naturally. And Dan and Rick, hopefully the Fowler and Carlson hits will be something that'll get a trend going for this offense.
Yeah, they needed that. I mean, that was the big hit, and maybe it's kind of something that you build on as you go forward here. Right center and a base hit. Drops in to Shields, the base hit.
And as Scotty mentioned, Paulie DeYoung talking about it on the Zoom call before the game, and he used the psychology of baseball quite a few times. So, there is a lot that goes on between the ears, and some of that's a confidence, some of that's preparation, and what do you do when things are going well and when they're not, and do you press, and how do you keep from pressing? So all that psychology conversation is part of what goes on with the ball talk. I noticed the ball talk conversation going on today, socially distanced out on the field.
It's down the right field line.
It was.
Cesar Hernandez, top of the lineup for the Indians. Struck out looking on a 3-2 pitch that caught the outside corner, his first time up. Another curveball, that time in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike.
There was a time in this game when Delino DeShields was on base, you knew he'd be stealing. But that was Senior. Junior doesn't run as much, but boy, does he come from a good line of athletes. His mom was a track star, All-American track star, and his father a former Cardinal, 97 and 98.
And you'll notice when he takes his lead, kind of has the track star look to it too.
He does.
And how he gets set.
So when you're learning baseball, do you ask mom how to run the bases or dad?
And dad will be at the coach's box tomorrow night for the Reds.
Yes, he will.
2-1 pitch. Lifted down the left field line. Edman is over, and it is a foul ball. Make 7 pregame picks that feature the storylines around the league and compete for cash every day with MLB Quick Pick. Restrictions apply. See rules and enter at MLB.com/quickpick. His dad's a very nice man too.
And an outstanding player. He was trying to be peacemaker in the.
Yes, he was.
Again, I'm going to call it a bench clearing conversation. I think to call it a brawl is not really appropriate. There's a lot of yelling. In fact, both sides saying, yeah, we were just yelling at each other, and the problem is now we can hear each other. Nothing new.
Inside corner, and the strikeout here of Hernandez, who twice has been caught looking. And Rizzo was kind of in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And had a little smirk. I don't know if you saw that, but he was kind of laughing during the whole thing too.
Well,
as if he got off the hook, you know.
If I was reading his lips correctly, he and Joey Votto were going at it, and he was saying, "I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything." And then after the game, he talked about what he had said. I found that interesting.
Yeah.
Unless I'm reading the lips wrong, he had actually been chirping at David Bell, who was his coach at one point, and he said, "Look, I love David Bell. He's great, but he's on the other team right now. So I've got my guys back. He's got his guys back. That's okay. It's baseball."
That's how it works.
I've always felt in baseball that, you know, you can go too far with it, but if there's a demonstration of your passion to win, your passion for your teammates, I think that's a good thing.
And the check on to Shields. It's back in safely.
I think of the number of times I ran out onto a field to defend Joaquin Andujar. I mean, several times.
I was going to say a couple times. No.
And he's your guy.
Yeah.
Whatever caused it, whatever happened, he's your guy.
Got his back.
Exactly.
Following the Reds and Chicago rivalry road trip, if you will. It's an 8-game trip to Cincinnati and Chicago. The Cardinals return home for back-to-back doubleheaders against Minnesota and Detroit.
Thankfully, an off day in between, but the import of every game is clear. I mean, things can be very different, both positively and negatively, by the time those doubleheaders happen. And it's also important that Carlos Martinez is getting ramped up to maybe being one of those guys that can be used in those doubleheaders. Let's hope so.
And the 1-2 pitch by Wainwright. Cardinals made just a bevy of roster moves yesterday, which did include Johan Oviedo staying in the rotation, and he's earned it.
I think it's a good move. Mike Schultz saying that Ryan Helsley is going to be traveling with the team on this road trip. He didn't say when he'd be activated, but he'll be traveling just in case he's ready to go. Didn't pick a day. Wasn't sure about that yet, but that's good news.
1-2 and doesn't get the call, just off the plate.
Helsley, Whitley, even go back to Brebbia, who was hurt during the camp and out. I mean, there's a lot of relievers that the Cardinals were counting on. Jordan Hicks, maybe towards the end. I mean, there's a lot of holes to fill.
And even the starter, Miles Michaelis, another one. The 2-2. And DeShields probably off with his next pitch. We'll see. 3-2, 1 out. Wainwright celebrating his 39th birthday today. As Ricky mentioned, the oldest active player in the National League. 13th pitcher in Major League history to start on his 39th birthday. The last to do so was Randy Wolf back in 2015 at Detroit. Runner goes, and it's hit down the right field line, foul. He's actually taken the hill on his birthday 3 times in his career.
Right, and pitched well, each one of them.
And that pitch, a check swing. Did he go? Did not. And so 2 walks issued by Wainwright. A reminder on this Sunday afternoon that baseball is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer, unquestionably good. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Steel. Find your Steel dealer at steeldealers.com. Runners at first and second. And Francisco Lindor, the batter. Fly to right center, first time up.
Adam
Steps out of the box.
Adam having some struggles with his fastball command here early. He mentioned in his last start that's what he lacked as well. The fastball where he wanted it, when he wanted it.
Needs a ground ball and a double play. And that pitch just a bit high. There's only been 244 position players, by the way, in the history of the game that have played 2,000 or more games. 99 of them are in the Hall of Fame. As Yachty is doing that today.
I have found out they don't let you play a long time if you're a bad player.
That's probably true. So it makes some sense.
Doesn't mean you couldn't play 2,000 games, but they just didn't want you to.
And of those players, only 10 primary catchers have played 2,000 or more games, and 6 of them are in the Hall of Fame. Pretty amazing career that he's had. Here's a 1-1 pitch. And a high fly ball lifted into right center. Who wants it? It'll be Fowler. He'll make the catch. Runner from second to Shields tagging up. You could hear Fowler, I got it, I got it, I got it, calling off Dylan Carlson.
Those are the kind of plays, and we've been talking about that a little bit with Dylan Carlson as a rookie. Getting used to communicating with outfielders he hasn't played a lot with. I think somewhere down the road this is going to be a ball he's going to take command of and call it. Either one of them could have caught it. You typically go with the center fielder, which of course Dexter has been one, being the one that gets the in-between ones. But the bottom line is they communicated well and caught the ball. But I was a little concerned for a moment that it might be one of those, I got it, you take it.
Carlos Santana popped up in foul territory his first time up, and it wound up being a sliding catch. What really should have been kind of a routine play by Carpenter near the on deck circle of the Cleveland Indians. Runners at the corners and the 1-0. Wonder if Waino goes in the dugout and just says, you know, guys, next time just let me make the play. I know what we're supposed to do. Just let me make the play.
Right.
Yep. I'm right there. I can do it.
Pitchers are taught, look, you're not an athlete. Don't catch the ball. Kind of hurts your feelings a little, I must say.
I still don't understand it. I mean, if you're right there, you're on the mound, you're under it, let him make the catch.
And by the way, a Gold Glover.
Yeah. Tapped up the first base line and foul.
I will say I've seen some pitchers that you might want to say let it go on all costs, that weren't necessarily a good fielder. You could be a guy that throws hard and you have bad hands and you can't hit. That happens.
Does make me think of one of the great lines I've ever heard from Tim McCarver.
Okay. I can't wait for this.
The 1-2 pitch. One day we're doing a game and you never knew what was going to come out of Tim's mouth.
Of course.
And he said, now Dan, and this is, you know, could have been bases loaded in a 3-2 count. He said, you know, on my tombstone, you're going to walk by it and all it's going to say is pitchers did this.
Oh, that's so Tim, isn't it?
Oh, he's the best. He's probably watching right now. 3-2 the count. What a beauty.
Well, pitchers can infuriate you, but you need them.
Yes.
The Cardinals need Waino to come up with a 3-2 pitch here.
And he goes with the breaking ball.
This inning, he has almost gone away from his fastball exclusively, and he's using the cutter as almost his fastball because I think he feels like he's got more command of that right now. Of course, that could change from inning to inning. Mine might say Dan McLaughlin did this.
Say Danny Mac did this. Thanks a lot.
People will get it.
Somewhere my wife is nodding in approval. 3-2 pitch. Well, Goldschmidt has been trying to keep the runner somewhat close to the bag at first and then backing up from the bag. And it's interesting. You have Santana is so selective. He's just not going to chase very often.
You know you're going to get a good at bat from him and a deep count.
Three-two again. Went with it again. The check swing struck him out. Strikeout for Waino, and he's got 2 in the inning, 3 in the game, and the Indians strand a pair. Cardinals on top. It's 4-2. Are proud to honor our military who served both at home and away. Tonight's honoree is Sergeant Nicole Eberly. Proudly serves our country in the United States Marine Corps. Thank you. We are your biggest fans. Pitch taken low by Tommy Edman, followed by Goldschmidt and Miller. Tommy, an infield hit back in the first, then caught stealing, trying to go from second to third. Play was reviewed, and he was called out. The 1-1. So as we approach this final month of the regular season, Tampa Bay 4-game lead over the Yankees. Yankees have been struggling as Edman hits it to the right side, bobbled a bit, but time to recover in the out. And Toronto is only a half game back of New York. Very competitive American League Central Division. You've got 3 teams within a game and a half. Cleveland, the White Sox, Minnesota, AL West, Oakland and Houston.
And the last time I saw a box score for Tampa Bay, Jose Martinez was hitting cleanup for them.
Yeah.
And they're in first place, and they traded him to the Cubs.
Goldschmidt with a drive, left center. It's at the wall, and it's off the wall. Luplow couldn't find it in the sun, and it's a double for Paul Goldschmidt.
That was a towering fly ball off the bat of Goldschmidt, and it got up so high that I think you're right. Luplow couldn't find it. He looks up right about now and can't see it, and may have been able to continue and make that play had he not stopped running right there, but no idea where the ball was.
No. And now it brings in Miller with Goldschmidt, your runner at second base. Miller grounded out to short. National League East. Atlanta leading by 2 games over Miami and the Phillies. Mets only 3 out. Cardinals are tied with Milwaukee 3.5 back in second place. In the West, it's the Dodgers by 5 over San Diego. The Dodgers are 25-10.
And not too early to be talking about standings and playoffs because they're going to be upon us, as you mentioned. Just another month to go in the season, and for those that don't know, the first and second place teams will all make it, and they have a complex tiebreaker system in play to figure out if there are any ties in those situations. And then you get seeded 1 through 8 in the National League and 1 through 8 in the American League, and there are 2 wild card teams that can come from any division. So that's not an issue of what division you happen to be playing in, and so there'll be 16 teams in the playoffs. So I think that has made this trading deadline, which is tomorrow, very interesting. A lot of teams feel like they have a chance to be playing in October.
Well, check swing did not go. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Inning started with a ground out by Edman. Goldschmidt, the double off the wall and left, and now 1 ball and 2 strikes on Miller. Ground ball softly hit to the right side. Goldschmidt advancing to third. And the batter will be Paul DeYoung, who singled to right and scored part of that 4-run second inning for the Cardinals.
I think the LA Angels are a perfect team to talk about with what I'm going to say is, you know, they're 10 games under 500 now, but they could conceivably, they've got some pretty good players in their lineup. I think we would agree. They can find the pitching, but if they win 10 out of 12 games, they're in a playoff conversation.
Yeah.
It can happen that quickly.
It backs up for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike on DeYoung. Indians without their managers, been dealing with some health concerns. Terry Francona played in 86 games with the Louisville Redbirds, which at the time was the AAA affiliate of the Cardinals back in 1990. Tito played parts of 2 seasons, his dad, in the mid-60s with St. Louis.
And Terry Francona, who people will call Tito, that's a nickname that he goes by, was in consideration for the Cardinals manager job after Tony La Russa. He was on the short list.
And they just called a balk, and so with that, a run will score. Goldschmidt scores to make it 5-2.
Not the most exciting way to score a run, but you take it, don't you?
Yeah.
That's the third balk we've seen, I believe, in this homestand.
Yeah. I think it was Ed Hickox, too, who called it, the home plate umpire.
So what does he do? Oh, he started. Boy, don't flinch.
So the Cardinals get a gift with the balk, and they'll take it. They get a run. Adds to their lead, and with that, it's a 5-2 St. Louis lead as we head to the 4th. For just $1 after any Cardinals home run. What will Fred Bird do today? Well, he is vacuuming the cardboard cutouts.
Oh,
again,
he's so creative.
Something I never thought I'd see. But again, unique times.
You had the bird bath out there one day. He was bird watching another day.
Yep. Again, my favorite though is the ironing board.
The ironing board. I think that was my favorite because it's the first one. I mean, the first one we noticed.
Yeah.
And he had a Where's Waldo moment in the midst of all the cardboard nation, which, by the way, it seems to be multiplying.
Yeah. Here's a 1-1 to Franmil Reyes, who walked and scored back in the second on the 2-run homer by Tyler Naquin, who's on deck. Then we'll see Luplow. That catches the outside corner and a strikeout.
Want some good news about Adam Wainwright?
Yes, sir.
And it relates to this pitch right there. I mean, right on the outside corner. His middle innings this year, he's been better than the first 3.
Yeah.
The command's been better. It almost like he has another gear. And despite having thrown 57 pitches in the first 3 innings, you still have that hope that he might just get on a roll here in the middle innings. He's done it several times this year.
1 out, nobody on. Naquin takes a pitch high. We were talking about the Indians maybe trying to bolster some of their lineup. Remember, at one point they had Oscar Mercado, who was a former Cardinal, and Mercado burst onto the scene with the Indians but has not caught fire like he once did. Fly ball into shallow right center, catch made by Carlson. I mean, Cardinals had so many outfielders at one point.
And that's why they got rid of Mercado at the time, who's really a good kid and a high draft choice that just was kind of stuck for a bit in the Cardinals organization. Stuck because people were ahead of him, and stuck because he was not playing up to his capabilities. But boy, it all came together that first year with the Indians, and he was the star for them.
And you had Randy Arozarena, who is going to get more playing time now with Tampa Bay with the trade of Jose Martinez. First pitch, a strike to Luplow, who flied to right. And the 0-1 by Adam Wainwright.
Well, if you're a minor league development director, Gary LaRocque and John Mozeliak, and you sit around and talk about what the team's going to be, they used to have a whiteboard, and I'm assuming they still have some kind of fancy board in one of their offices where they're projecting what the team's going to be like in 3 years. There's a where are we now and what's our team in 3 years, and you kind of mix and match there because you want to make sure you don't lose sight of both. You want to play now, but you also want to be good in 3 years or 5 years. And when you've got a young player like Dylan Carlson that you know is going to be out there, that makes the other outfielders, even if they're good, expendable.
And there's another strikeout. 2 in the inning, 5 today for Adam Wainwright, midway through 4, and it's 5-2. To feed communities in need in Missouri, and you can help. Your donation will support the St. Louis Area Food Bank. For more information and to donate, go to cardinals.com/hunger. Yadier Molina, Matt Carpenter, and Dexter Fowler. And Molina yanks it foul down the left field line. He is 1 home run from tying Johnny Mize. 7 total bases from Jim Bottingley. And 5 runs batted in from tying Ted Simmons.
I'm sure that will mean even more to Yadi when he's older and done playing. But you start hearing your name up against guys that when you were younger were the big stars in the game, the Hall of Famers. You realize, wow, I did that. I mean, I think if you're Yadi right now, he is singularly focused on playing. Mike Schill was talking before the game about how much he loves to play. You can't get him out of the lineup. He just wants to play. He wants to catch every day. He wants to play every day, and he's just a warrior.
Grounded left side, gloved. Ramirez, and he makes the play. Entering the Phillips 66 home run kit sweepstakes. Chance to win exclusive Cardinals merchandise like an autographed item. Visit www.cardinals.com/Phillips66 to enter. Well, that's got to be a player's mindset, right? I mean, you're in the moment.
Yeah. In fact, I always laugh when I hear questions, and I can tell what the player is going to say to the question. You ask Paul Goldschmidt, boy, you really seem to be locked in right now. How do you feel about this related to all your years in your career? What's he going to say to that? I mean, he's going to say he's not thinking that way. He's not thinking about the philosophy or the where does this rate in my career. I mean, you can't think that way. Now, that's what we do, and that's what fans can do. But the player is not thinking about that. You can't. You can't kind of overanalyze and try to put perspective on the careers of, what does it mean to be the same kind of catcher as named with Ted Simmons and Carlton Fisk. Yadi's not going to have an answer for that right now. I mean, he will someday, but not right now, because he's not thinking that way. You can't.
1-2 the count on Carpenter. He came up with runners at first and third, and one out, drew a walk, and lifts this in the air to center. To Shields, 2 away. Take a look at our Nissan drives of the game with Dexter Fowler coming up. He came up with the bases loaded and delivered this double. That would score 2, and then Carlson would deliver as well.
Yeah, and Dexter likes to wait to get deep into counts, but he ambushed Savali by swinging at the first pitch, and then Carlson comes through with runners in scoring position. Both these guys came through in that inning, and the Cardinals needed something, needed a spark, needed some energy, and it came from the bottom of the order of the Cardinals today.
And Dexter is up to 11 driven in. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cubs with a 6-1 lead over Cincinnati. Pittsburgh leading Milwaukee 3-1. Two balls, 1 strike. 2-2. Dakota Hudson, D. Sclafani tomorrow. KK against Sonny Gray. Johan Oviedo, Tyler Mahle in game 3. Cards and Reds starting tomorrow night. There's a swing and a miss. Strikeout of Dexter Fowler, first of the afternoon for the Cleveland starter, and we head to inning number 5.
Gorgeous day at Busch Stadium. Game number 2000 for that guy, Yadi, and with the amount of playing time he's gotten since returning, it's clear that Yadi's not slowing down one bit. Mike Shildt said this about Yadi: the guy loves playing. People can say what they want about how much he plays, but the results speak for themselves. Shildt said he was going over some of the metrics with Jeff Albert. He said with a little more luck this season, Yadi could be having one of the best offensive years of his career. Danny, pretty clear that Yadi's not slowing down at all.
He is not slowing down. This is Roberto Perez, and I want to get an update on another catcher. This is DeYoung, makes the play. How about Matt Wieters? Where's Matt Wieters right now, Jimmy?
So Matt Wieters is with the team. He worked out with the team yesterday, and they got a long look at him. Mike Shildt said that Wieters will be with the team when they depart for their road trip. At some point, they'll determine when it's best for Wieters to make his return. He's got a toe issue, but Danny, he's close.
All right, good stuff as always, Cat.
We've talked about Adam Wainwright's leadership in the clubhouse and what he does for his teammates, but Dan, I've got to say, your energy today has been so infectious. I felt it in Scotty.
You and Cat are up to something.
Well, Scotty and Jim's report. I mean, I'm feeling it here in our booth. I mean, you've just brought the energy today.
You two are up to something, and I'm not sure I like it.
No, there's nothing.
I'm going to go on the record and say I'm not sure about this, and I'm not sure I like it.
Boy, you can't take a compliment, can you?
Hey, man, we're at the ballpark watching Big League Baseball. 1-2 the count.
Really is a fact. And thinking about where we were a couple months ago.
Love it. We're here. There's a strikeout of DeShields. And to your point, Waino seems to be getting better and better in the middle innings.
Fourth inning. He just came out differently last inning, had an 11-pitch inning, and quick ground ball infield out on soft contact, and then 91 painted low. And again, it seems like he's found the location with his fastball and a little more velocity too. And he's great to listen to post game because he will break down even the physical things. He said, you know, I'm holding my hands, I'm carrying my hands too far to the plate. I was breaking too late and I figured it out. I mean, he really has good body awareness.
Hit out to left. Edman can't get there, and it's a ground rule double. So a 2-out double for Cesar Hernandez. I mean this sincerely. I'm excited to come to the ballpark every day. I'm excited for the fact that our fans have a chance to watch the game of baseball.
Yep.
And that this hopefully is a diversion, a distraction, and 3 hours of entertainment.
And more ahead.
And fun.
And plenty more ahead. 33 games in 28 days for the Cardinals, with hopes of having some October fun after that. The first round of playoffs that we talked about earlier, 8 teams in each league, so a lot of opportunities there. And there'll be some teams in the playoffs that played less than 500 baseball. Probably. Maybe one in each league. If you look at it.
Might come from the Central, too.
Might very well be true. But that first round will be the best, just 3 games, basically.
Yeah.
And it will be in the ballpark of the team that has the higher seed.
Well, that's why, you know, the Dodgers are on pace. I mentioned this the other night, to win 44 or 45 games out of their 60. Take out home field advantage. The first round is a best of 3. And in baseball, as crazy as it is, you can lose 2 out of 3 very easily.
Let's say it's the Cardinals and the Dodgers. That's feasible.
And you've got Carlos Martinez dealing.
Jack Flaherty.
And
this guy.
You know, and a really good bullpen.
Take your chances.
Now
they've got guys on the other team that aren't bad.
Well, that Kershaw guy has been dealing pretty well.
And basically everybody else.
Right. Ooh, just missed. But that's what's going to make this fun in the postseason. So from a fan's perspective and our perspective, watching yesterday, yeah, it's frustrating. It's a frustrating game to watch. Yeah. Friday night wasn't a lot of fun.
No,
but hey.
But don't be surprised if a division winner isn't watching the playoffs after 3 days.
But baseball's back, and it's fun to be here at the ballpark. Check swing, and he did go. So it's a strikeout, and again, 2 more in the inning, and he's up to 7. Uncle Charlie, he's got it rolling. 5-2 Cardinals. 5G Network, and some of the ticket to the game and news around the game. And if you missed it, it's a blink of an eye. Trevor Rosenthal headed to San Diego. Mentioned the semi-socially distanced yelling, brawl, and the White Sox.
Conversation.
Conversation.
Bench clearing conversation.
That's the best way to put it. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Dylan Carlson. A single, and picked up 2 runs batted in back in the 2nd inning.
If they do leave the bench now, baseball's taking that very seriously. They do not like the optics of that, to have 20 people on the field next to each other right now. And the reality is you can hear each other anyway. There's no need to leave your bench.
Backhanded by Hernandez.
Just yell from a distance.
That's what we do.
Yes, we do.
I mean, we figured it out. I mean, we used to have brawls, man, last year.
And now we just have booth clearing conversations.
That's right. We used to have that. Cat used to come in here and have to break us up.
Wow. He's our peacemaker.
Yes, he is. Here's Wong. And they showed me that, well, a couple videos of you back in your playing career when Mr. Nice Guy Horton wasn't so Mr. Nice Guy, and you'd be in the middle of those brawls. I said, I can't mess with Ricky anymore.
Sometimes you're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's right. Colton is 0 for 2. Not getting that high strike here. And it's 3-1 with 1 out and nobody on. Like I said, not getting that high strike. Want to remind you that baseball brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals, and by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. I think Colton even thought that may have been a strike.
Right.
So the second walk issued to the Cardinals in this ball game, and now Tommy Edman, infield hit, caught stealing back in the first and grounded out to second. And that's a base hit into right field. Wong hustling to third. And in there safely. Second hit for Tommy Edman, 2 for 3.
Sometimes you're just better off jumping on that first pitch. And I know we like to talk about getting deep into a count, but it may be a pitch right down the middle, and you have to be ready for it. And Colton Wong's ready to go first and third, first to third, because he knows that the Indians are not going to want to airmail a throw there to try to throw him out, because that would result in Tommy Edman going to second. So just smart base running, and I like the approach to just hop on that first pitch.
There's Goldschmidt, hit one off the wall and left and scored a run.
Hopping on the first pitch again.
So the previous 4 games that we talked about, 3 for 30 with runners in scoring position. Today 2 for 3. And you look up, it's 5-2 Cardinals. The 0-1. Hit slowly towards short. Out there the turn, and do they get 2? They do. A double play. We played 5 here at Busch Stadium. St. Louis on top 5-2. Club and all of its members today proficient salutes Bob Gibson. Been a Red Jacket member since 2014. Hello, Mr. Gibson, if you're watching in Omaha. Doesn't miss much.
No, he doesn't.
Hit the other way and a base hit. Wainwright has struck out 7 with 5 of the 7 looking, and that's a leadoff base hit for Lindor.
Our BJC difference maker, you ask? It's Adam Wainwright facing Santana with some traffic aboard. He throws the curveball 3-2, gets the punch out, and he has been dynamic since then. Santana a tough out, batting with 2 runners aboard in that third, and that solidified the Cardinals' lead that they still maintain 5-2 here in the 6th.
Carlos Santana. He's popped out and struck out. Check swing back in the third.
Both teams now swinging at the first pitch more often. Think about a pitcher getting high up in pitch count. They're going to just throw as many strikes as possible. Maybe a good time to ambush them.
Cardinals miss Shane Bieber in this series. He is 6-0, Ricky, with a 1.35 ERA.
I'll watch him on TV. I'm okay with that.
They'll be at Kansas City tomorrow. Cardinals will be in Cincinnati. He's fun to watch. Leadoff base hit, Lindor. And that pitch taken outside.
Best pitcher in the game, if you were to ask that question. Top 5?
Definitely top 5. It's part of a really good draft class by Cleveland. That's out of play. Savali today starter. Bieber and Zach Plesac, who is currently at their alternate site. And that was the year that they went to the World Series and lost in Game 7. Well, they've had some heartbreaks, man. I mean, you think about the Miami World Series, Edgar Renteria,
Yep.
walk off, and then losing in extra innings in Game 7 at home to the Chicago Cubs.
That broke some hearts other than just Indians fans.
Well put. Edman backing up, and he'll make the catch.
Tommy has looked a little uncomfortable in left field. He has not been really getting good jumps, but you know, the reality is, how many reps has he had in the outfield this year? But he ends up making the play.
Athletic, good speed, and able to overcome that. Franmil Reyes walked back in the second inning and struck out looking in the fourth. Lindor, your runner at first base. Big curveball and a strike. There's your ground ball, and there is your double play. 6-4-3. Bobbled it a bit, stayed with it, and the 6-4-3 double play. Waino through 6. Cardinals on top 5-2. Take a look at the Bud Light Seltzer. What's on tap? Tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, we are on the air. Note the start times at 5. So you got to leave work a little early. It's okay. Or you might be home. Many people are home anyway, so make sure you tune in at 5.
Leave your office.
Yeah.
Go to the family room.
And you're checking out a little baseball.
Exactly.
And it's the Cardinals and the Reds. I believe my partner will be one Jimmy ball game. And you will be here at Busch Stadium doing the radio.
That has been a unique experience. A lot of people ask me about that, what that's like to be here at the ballpark and doing it off monitors, doing it off screens. It's a challenge. I mean, sometimes there's a little delay even between the crack of the bat and what we're seeing and what we're hearing. I mean, it's complicated to get that right. But
strike out of Miller.
I found it easier than I thought it would be. And I was also able to watch the Cardinals do some work on the field, the players that weren't on the trip, while I was talking about a Cardinal game happening on the road. So that was fascinating. In fact, it was Yadi's first day back in baseball-related activities. He and DeYoung both. Just really good to have them both back playing again.
And they were facing Matthew Libator.
They were. I actually had a triple header that day.
It's kind of fun to see.
Oh, it's great.
And for folks that don't know, we are doing games out of a studio, so we have a monitor set up that you have set up.
Yep.
And that's how we do the games.
I believe they're 2 85-inch TVs that we have on the radio side. I might have to knock out some walls to get it in my house, but I'm not so sure what they're going to do with them at the end of the year. And, you know, I have an idea or two.
Count me in. I'm going to start the bidding on those. I've seen those. Those are very nice.
They're exactly.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Maybe raffle them off.
I am in.
Or just give them to us.
Yeah. Why not? A little bonus. Mike Shannon may have a word or two about that.
He might. Yes. There is a pecking order, you know.
Yes. The 1-2. And DeYoung lifts it in the air out to left, and that'll be a base hit. He is thinking 2 on his way to second, and in with a double.
Couple of hits for Paulie D today. Pitch it hangs up a little bit, up and away, and didn't actually hit it on the screws, but he hit it in the right spot. Down the left field line. Good at bat for Paul.
Yachty has singled, scored. The base hit to right back in the second, grounded out to third.
It will become a bullpen game very soon for both teams.
First extra base hit for DeYoung since a double against Kansas City on Monday. With that base hit by Molina, if you just joined us, that passed Red Schoendienst 1,981 on the all-time hits list in Cardinals history. Cam Hill getting loose. Cardinals trying to add to their lead. They had a 4-run second, added on another one in the third thanks to a balk. And Molina pops it up. Catch made. And now a quick word from Great Southern Bank.
For all of life's little investments, a loan from Great Southern Bank can help make them happen.
And the Cardinals need a 2-out hit here from Carpenter. Walked and scored in the second. Fly to center.
Savali was able to get that double play to end the 5th inning, and you have this sense as it's becoming not an extra inning game, a bullpen game. Hopefully not an extra inning game, but you want to get as many runs as possible. They missed an opportunity last inning, but another opportunity here with DeYoung at second.
And a strike to Carpenter. Fowler on deck if Carpenter can extend the inning. Shift on the right side. And the 0-1 pitch. A little bit high. We've seen a lot of teams attack Carpenter, 4-seamers up in the zone. Hey, there's a cutout of Tito Landrum. You never know who's going to be in the
Love Tito Landrum.
Cardboard cutouts. 2 strikes.
I may have been a teammate of Tito Landrum more than any player that was a Cardinal because I went through a lot of minor league time with him. And just a terrific teammate. And had a great World Series when Vince Coleman had his issues with the tarp.
Yes, he did. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That's where they're trying to go, upstairs with Carpenter. Two and two. Runner at second, DeYoung. Shift on the right side. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. And we head to the 7th. The Cardinals have a 5-2 lead on a beautiful Sunday here at Busch.
7th inning at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals making several roster moves over the weekend as they brought up 3 relievers, and Daniel Ponce de Leon, one of the players that was sent down to the satellite camp in Springfield. Now, the thought is more than likely Ponce could be back with the ball club next Saturday when the Cardinals have a doubleheader in Chicago against the Cubs. Also, Carlos Martinez pitched a simulated game in Springfield, and Mike Schultz said yesterday that he recovered nicely and more than likely could be a pitcher in one of those 2 doubleheader games coming up next Saturday in Chicago. But he says that's in pencil, not pin right now. But the moral of the story is here, Dan, is the fact that the Cardinals need a lot of arms, as you know, with all these doubleheaders coming up starting a week from Saturday.
And the one guy that has been there from day number 1, dealing again this afternoon, Scotty, is old number 50.
Yeah, and he's getting better as this game rolls along too. Wainwright, and predictably so. That's what he's done this year. And with 90 pitches going into this inning, still no action in the Cardinals bullpen. I thought somebody might get up with him this inning and just to back him up. But the Cardinals a little thin in their bullpen. But when Waino's out there, he is a horse. I mean, this is how you celebrate a birthday.
It's giving you innings too. You know, it's not just the fact that you have a chance to win the game, but it's quality innings. The length in the games.
If the bullpen has to get 6 outs, that's a big difference between
Yes.
getting 6 and 12.
Yes.
Or 9 or whatever it is. If you can get through 7 innings, that's really perfect.
So Naquin the first out. Luplow out number 2. Well, now you're at 94 pitches. If he can have a quick, efficient 1, 2, 3, 7th,
boy.
do you think about the 8th?
I say let him pitch the 8th, pitch the 9th, and pitch tomorrow.
Well,
not realistic. I'm just hoping for that.
The way things are going, you never know. It's 2020, Ricky.
Right.
Roberto Perez, sliding catch by Fowler and Wright. And he also grounded out to short, 0 for 2. You're at the bottom of the order, 2. 8th place hitter here, then Delino DeShields.
Working quickly, too.
Season ticket holders of the game: Joe Cavato, Sean, Rachel Ebeling, and the Club 509 group. Shelley Singleton, Sherelle Givens, the Dickens siblings, Jillian and Wynn and David. And from Potosi, Missouri, big shout out, Roger and Sharon Jarvis, their 46th wedding anniversary, and they never miss a Cardinal game. Happy wedding anniversary, Roger and Sharon.
I think Wainwright's about, I'm going to say, 1 pitch away from going into the clubhouse and opening up his birthday presents, because I think 7 innings would be enough. But who knows? Still no action in the Cardinals bullpen. But we also should say Cadence Ripito had a birthday yesterday. We weren't doing the game, didn't get a chance to congratulate her. She does a great job working for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Check swing and could not hold up. Strikeout number 8 for Adam Wainwright. He is through 7, and wherever you may be, let's stretch. Is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. New pitcher in for the Cleveland Indians, Cam Hill, and this is our Chevy call to the pen.
We saw him on Friday. He pitched a scoreless inning in that game, and the bullpen's been pretty tough for Cleveland. We've seen some guys, in fact, the guy we saw yesterday, Karinchak, maybe has the best curveball I've ever seen. I mean, it was unhittable. And of course, talking curveball, Adam Wainwright has been good today, and still nobody throwing in the Cardinals bullpen. Now, they may get up here shortly, but it's possible that Wainwright's going to go back out for that 8th inning.
Dexter Fowler, first pitch popped up left side and out of play. This is the Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri.
We've pointed this out before, but if Adam Wainwright were batting in the 9th spot this inning, he probably would be pinch hit for.
And that's lifted in the air. Deep right at the wall. Gone! It's a home run. Dexter Fowler. Dexter has driven in 3 today. RBI double with the bases loaded in the 2nd, and now a solo home run here in the 7th.
There's the add-on the Cardinals have been looking for. Jumps on that pitch. Not a bad spot, really. But Dex, with his 4th home run of the season, leads the club now.
Behalf of Dexter Fowler, the Gateway Honda dealers donating $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. So he's driven in 12 on the year, 4 home runs, 2-hit day. Ground ball hit to the right side off the bat of Dylan Carlson. And he is 1 for 3. Subway Restaurants proud to feature the Cardinals fan favorite for August, the sweet onion chicken teriyaki sub, fueling fans around St. Louis all month long. Here's Colton Wong. He walked back in the 5th, fly to center, fly to left, and ball 1.
Mentioned earlier that your energy has been terrific from pitch 1, Dan, but I think all of our sponsors have to understand that the passion with which you are reading their promos has been extraordinary as well.
Thank you. The chicken teriyaki.
That's what I mean. I mean, I'm salivating over here after hearing you say that.
You got to head to Subway.
I might just do that.
One of our great Cardinal sponsors. Here's Tommy Edman. Infield hit, caught stealing in the 1st, grounded out to 2nd, and a single to right field in the 5th.
Made this statement earlier in the week, and it's still true, that of all the Cardinal outfielders with the competition for playing time, the one that's distinguished himself the most so far has been Dexter Fowler. And I say competition, that's not exactly the word, but you're looking for kind of a healthy competition, let's say that, for playing time, and the other outfielders not really been able to get on track yet.
At all. That was one of the concerns coming into this season. You know, the production from collectively the outfield.
Right.
Two and two. Shift on the right side. And that is tapped foul. Two again. Went down to get it, pops it up. Outfield grass, and the catch is made. We have played 7. Home run hit by Dexter Fowler, his 4th of the year. Cardinals extend their lead. A 9-hit attack, and it's 6-2 St. Louis. Cardinals are proud to partner with Wells Fargo Advisors. Thank them for continuing to serve the community through their contributions to Cardinals Care. Adam Wainwright, 6-2 our score as DeShields bunts it foul. We're underway. Here we are in the 8th inning. Harrison Bader takes over in center field. Some changes for the Cardinals. Dylan Carlson shifting from center to left field. And Tommy Edman going from left to third. Curveball, right side. Goldschmidt raced to the bag, and he's there for the out. That's a first out.
I'm sure there's something with Adam Wainwright still being in this game that has to do with just how strong he's been the last 4 innings and not really pitched under any duress at all. And he doesn't seem to be weakening, but the pitch count over 100, my guess would be that Mike Schilt and Mike Maddox have a number in mind of how many pitches he might be able to go before they go to their bullpen, but obviously not at that number yet. Not all 100-pitch games are the same.
Just going to say that. I mean,
yeah,
it's part of it's the eye test here.
No doubt. Well, he's passing the eye test with flying colors.
This is backhanded by Wong. 2 away. And now you're starting to think, do you send him back out there for the 9th if he can get through the 8th 1-2-3? And my answer would be absolutely.
If we found out anything about Adam Wainwright, is don't be surprised.
Jose Ramirez flied to left, walked, struck out, curveball in there for a strike. Pitch number 105. Little bit low. He has struck out 8, 2 walks, 4 hits allowed. You just don't see many guys, too, Ricky, get a real good swing in terms of centering the bat on the ball on the curveball. You know, they're out in front, a lot of pop-ups or weak contact, ground balls, that kind of thing.
Because it's so sharp and it has such good spin rate. It's breaking on 2 planes, and he's throwing it for strikes. I mean, all of the above. You can't not swing at it, but if you can't hit it, then that's why Wainwright has had such a terrific career, with that particular pitch being his best one. But he's more than that. I mean, he's a guy that's shown command with a cutter and used a changeup early in his career more often than he does now. I mean, he's just a complete pitcher.
The 2-2 pulled foul, and then the backswing of Ramirez that caught Yadier Molina. Still no one up and throwing. Pitch count at 108. Ground ball again, foul. You think the young guys are in there going, how does he do this?
Yeah, well, I know they are. And we talked about this a couple days ago. In fact, we talked about it in Ponce de Leon's start, which was a rough one. And he'd said in his Zoom call, I don't understand it. I got to talk to him more about, well, how do you do what you do? How do you struggle in the first couple innings and then just settle down and dominate?
9 strikeouts today for Adam Wainwright. 9. He is through 8 innings. He's 39. It's 6-2. What's happened today, and really right in the middle is the big one. When you think about Wainwright on the mound and Fowler at the plate, 2 for 3, double home run. He's driven in 3. But story developing here at the ballpark is Adam Wainwright threw 8 on his 39th birthday. And if that's any indication right now, he's not coming out. He's going back out there for the 9th inning. There's Paul Goldschmidt.
A lot of contributions from the state of Georgia today. You've got the Georgian pitching like he was 25, and you've got Dexter Fowler carrying the offense.
This is Simber, sidewinder. Well, how many baseball players did the Atlanta Braves run at fuel over the course of the last 25 years? I mean, Wainwright talks about it. Fowler's talked about it. That's hit left side. So many great players in the league that, were exposed to watching the Braves in that historic run that they had.
State of Georgia overall, and you're talking about scouting amateur baseball, people go to Georgia to watch the high level. They just do. California, Texas. So many players coming out of the state of Georgia.
Here's Miller. 0 for 3 today. Looking ahead to the 9th inning. It'll be 3, 4, and 5. It won't be easy. Lindor, Santana, and Reyes coming up. The 2-0 pitch to Miller. Always like hearing the backstories, and I'm not sure about Simber, but how guys figure out how to pitch like this. You wouldn't think they grabbed a baseball and said, well, this is how I'm going to learn to throw. There's got to be a reason as to why you went like that.
It could be as simple as I did it in the backyard and nobody could hit me in my neighborhood, or my arm was sore and I was having a hard time and I just couldn't get my shoulder up, and I just found that was a slot that felt better. I mean, it could be that too.
There's a fly ball lifted into right. Reminder that Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer, unquestionably good, and by St. Louis Children's Hospital and Washington University Physicians, Guardians of Childhood. And many times it's, well, I did throw what would be quote unquote normal,
right?
3/4 overhand, whatever, and I couldn't get anybody out.
Well, sometimes it's that.
So I had to try something different because I love this game.
Well, I've got to say, when I was a member of the Indians in the minor leagues on the way down, so you have a way up and you have a way down, and the Indians were crazy enough to give me one more shot at playing, and when I was in AAA, I tried to throw from down there, and they can hit that too.
There's DeYoung, and there is a ground rule double, his second double of the day and a 3-hit afternoon.
I tried a split finger. I tried throwing from down there, and well, then I updated my resume.
And now you're up here.
That's right. Well, I went coaching first.
Yeah. Here's Molina, who is 1 for 3. Single to right. Run scored back in inning number 2. Grounded out to third and also popped out to short.
Well, talking about the day of Dexter Fowler, right behind that is the day of Paul DeYoung.
And that's a base hit into left. DeYoung being waved in. The throw to the plate. It's in time. No, he's safe. Beats the tag. And a run batted in for Yadier Molina.
Sandy Alomar Jr. is saying, hold up, let me think about this. But classic Yadi. Perfectly placed. And they are not going to challenge that, but they are going to go to a new pitcher. Bader telling him, slide this way. Doing his job, Harrison Bader. Everybody right on top of that.
I give Perez credit, the catcher, giving him a lane to slide. That's how it's supposed to be done. So the run will score, and now Yadi is 4 away. Runs batted in, 4 away from Ted Simmons. 7-2. For the former Cardinal Dominic Leone, 6 1/3. He's had plenty of rest, almost a week, and our Chevy called to the pen.
Well, there were high hopes for Dominic Leone being maybe a 7th or 8th inning guy for the Cardinals and working late. In fact, one year the Cardinals, when he was with the Cardinals in spring training, we thought, well, maybe, just maybe, he could be a closer. Toronto loved him, and being around Dominic, gotta love him. I mean, he's just a wonderful guy to be around, but is just didn't really work with the Cardinals. Could not get straight. He's got a good cutter. That's really his pitch. He'll throw cutter after cutter after cutter.
And Bader lifts a high fly ball down the right field line. It's slicing and foul.
Well, either Mike Schilt is going to keep going with Adam Wainwright, or the bullpen phone doesn't work.
I'll go with your first option. This is Waino's.
Wise man, Danny.
That one wasn't too hard to figure out.
No.
The 0-1. 0-2. Bader's first plate appearance came in defensive replacement in the top of the 8th.
And unfortunately, Dan, we are left to imagine what the ovation would have been like today here at the ballpark for Adam Wainwright.
One ball and 2 strikes. Short lead at first by Molina. Cardinals have out hit the Indians 11-4. The 2-2 outside. Yachty off with the pitch, and the 3-2 to Harrison Bader. Out of play.
Well, he's had good swings in this at bat, hasn't he? Took that ball deep foul into the right field seats and just looks comfortable. Again, there's opportunities for some Cardinal outfielders to distinguish themselves and become just everyday players. And Bader's been getting better and better as the season has gone along.
Three-2 again, and there is a strikeout. Adam Wainwright on his birthday at 110 pitches. Can he finish what he started? We're about to find out.
Adam Wainwright back out for the 9th inning. Let's take a look at StatCast, powered by Google Cloud. The second highest spin rate this season, over 3,000. That's elite. Adam Wainwright spinning the baseball and all over the Cleveland Indians today. After a slow start, he has just dominated this game, and after 110 pitches, he is still going.
Bud Light Seltzer, player of the game. He's looking for his 23rd career complete game, and strike 1 to Francisco Lindor. He's 1 for 3. The 0-1. Now 0-2. Lindor here, then Santana and Franmil Reyes.
I don't know what Adam Wainwright's getting for his birthday, but he's given himself a nice present today.
I'd say so. The 0-2 and a fly ball. Bader, right center, 1 away.
It's not easy, but he's made it look easy. Really, since the 4th inning. Had some traffic in the 3rd, but nothing really to speak of. Just a couple of hits since that 3rd inning. Phenomenal performance today by Adam Wainwright. And when he's through, wherever you may be, you're not here at the ballpark, Cardinal fans. We get that. But whenever Adam's done, whatever happens, I invite you to join me and stand and give him a standing ovation when it's over. I think he'll know.
July 16th of 2016 was the last time he threw a complete game. He's 2 outs away from trying to do it. No one up and throwing in the Cardinal pen. Carlos Santana at the plate. The 2-0. A strike, 2-1. Last base hit was a leadoff base hit by Lindor in the 6th inning. 2-2.
Cardinals have used 10 different relievers, including Max Schrock, the last couple of days, but very quiet in the Cardinals bullpen today.
The 2-2 pitch. Just got a piece. 74 miles per hour. This is something. This is something.
We may have to tell our younger audience a complete game is when you throw all 9. You don't see very many of them.
2-2 pitch popped up. Yachty throws the mask, gives way to Edman, who makes the catch coming in. Almost an identical play that Carpenter made earlier.
Well, it wasn't an easy play. Tommy Edman just said, hey, Gold Glovers, get out of my way. I'm catching this one. Let's see. Waino's a Gold Glover. Molina is, but you hear Edman calling it. And making the play. Had it all the way, Danny.
Franmil Reyes with 2 outs here in the 9th. And strike 1. Pitch number 121. 0-2. The 0-2 pitch. Fly ball, left field. Carlson over. He has it. Wainwright. His 39th birthday. He goes the distance. 23rd complete game of his career. Absolutely remarkable. And a hug from Yadier Molina. Goosebumps everywhere. Everywhere. What a performance from the 39-year-old Adam Wainwright. Incredible.
They had to put their masks on, but it didn't stop them from hugging, and you can't blame them. Stand up, Cardinal fans, wherever you are, and applaud Adam Wainwright celebrating his birthday today at Busch Stadium. Terrific performance.
Even a tip of the cap from the opposition from some of the Cleveland Indians in one of the more remarkable performances you'll ever see. At the age of 39 on his birthday, Adam Wainwright goes the distance in a complete game. 7-2 the final. All you could say is wow.